Okay, I'm live. Zoom told me I wasn't. So hello, everyone. This is Lori Staley, Addicted Stamper with Stampin' Up. And it is Thursday morning, a little after 10, thanks to Zoom not wanting to let me in. And we are going to do coffee and cards. So hopefully you are ready to do some fun stamping and see some cute projects. Thank you guys. Hi, Betty. Hi, Thelma. Thanks for sharing. I'm actually going to go do that real quick over on the other group. And we will, or not. Oh, there we go. It's really, really slow this morning. So hopefully this works for us. All right. Gee, I feel like we were just together. We kind of were, weren't we? That was a long one last night, but hopefully you all got your books marked. And your shopping list started, right? I already know there's a few things I'm going to grab just because I like them so much. And someday I will be able to stamp just for me. I know it. Hi, Carol. Good morning. All right, so let's do the housekeeping tasks and then we'll roll right into it. Of course, these are the just cards. With that retiring list, you have even a more or better reason to shop right now. Minimum $30 product order on my website using this month's host code, which is right here for you, and you will earn these card kits. You can do a to-go, a porch pickup, or if you're local, the in-person class. Or you can buy the kits outright for $15. And again, if you're long distance, it is plus postage, which is running, last month it ran about $4. So those are really fun cards. We're using lots of beautiful designer series paper, including the one, the Waves of the Ocean designer series paper, which is that paint pour paper. This is the hybrid die cutting and embossing that we highlighted last night. That is retiring. That set is retiring. So great opportunity to check that out. And some of the beautiful tulip, flowering fields. I can't remember the name of that paper, and more of the Waves of the Ocean designer series paper with our turtle that's retiring. Hey guys, good morning, Ashley. Good morning, Connie. Thank you for sharing, guys. Hi, Valerie. Hey, Judy, Shirley. What is wrong with me when I read names? I love to hear that, Shirley. If I can help you in any way, let me know. All right. And then, yes, as I was just talking about this, there is the beautiful products in the Waves of the Ocean promotion. Of course, the bundle is carrying over, but the paper, the foils, and the gems, I can't believe all of this is still available. I really can't. I fully expected these items to sell out. So they are still available as of yesterday. If you're still wanting to grab them, now's the time. I have a feeling people will add some extras of this, even if they've already bought it, as they put in their retired orders. So you definitely want to try to grab that. Savings in Bloom, of course, our mini embossing machine, which is fabulous. And then all of these great bundles that are discounted. So there's 13 bundles there. We're actually going to play with Welcoming Window today. And I had that planned. I actually created these projects at my retreat earlier in the month. And just so happens that they fell not only in the promotion, but, well, I knew they were in the promotion. I didn't know they were going to be on the retired list, right? So Welcoming Window, beautiful set. I love every stamp in here. Practically used every stamp in here on the projects today, but the little brick is so cute. I'm not using that one. And I'm not using the thank you or the Mother's Day today, but all the rest are going to be used. I'm also on one of the projects using the Plentiful Plants. Okay, now the bundle is retiring, but the product, the stamps and the dies are not. So if you want the bundle price for this, you want to grab it before May 2nd or by May 2nd. if you're not worried about the bundle price, then that will be in the annual catalog going forward for 2022, 2023. You know, I can't even believe I'm saying that. 2022, 2023. That's crazy. All right. So, and then let's not forget to announce the winner for these really fun cards that we did in Technique Takeover on Sunday night. This was the watercolor lift, where we brayered a piece of basic white, not brayered, but sponged a piece of basic white with our Positively Pink, stamped and stays on. So important to stamp and stays on when you do this technique. And then use the water brushes to lift the color out of the design. That's that Elegantly Said stamp, which that stamp set's retiring. And then this one we did with the bleach. And we just used an old blender pen that was done, not a blend, but a blender pen. They are different. Dipped it into bleach and used it on the Pear Pizzazz cardstock to turn it yellow. So that was pretty cool. So the winner of these is Carol Kaufman. Carol, I don't know if I saw you pop on or not, but these are yours. So congratulations on that. Thank you so much for watching, commenting, sharing, liking, etc. I think you have a card kit upstairs, so I will put those with that so we make sure we get them all to you at the same time. Okay, I think that's all the housekeeping. Let's show you a card or two or three. Rattle, rattle, my bag is not releasing the products. Yeah, I love that technique too. Hi, Emmy. So here we're going to make, this is a pretty simple one. I did do some die cutting for the greenery, the little pot, and the ledge for the window. This paper is Bloom Where You Were Planted, designer series paper. That's one of my favorites too. And we're using thick basic white as our card base. And then do you see these fun little flowers? Aren't they cute? So the good news is they are carrying over, but they are called Loose Flower Flourishes. Thank you, Emmy. And they come in a couple of sizes. So we have really, really tiny ones in there. Hopefully you can see that. I'll pull the pink one forward. There's a little tiny one, and then there's the larger ones, okay? They are in the fresh freesia, the polished pink, and the pale papaya. So they're in part of the in colors that are carrying over as well. I'm not going to put that back in the bag. That would be silly. All right, so this is a fun card, and it comes together fairly quickly. We do have this cut at 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. And we're going to go ahead and mount this. These tiny little pieces. I'm going to go ahead and stamp that right now before I lose it. I'll give you a closer look at the set and show you the dies as well, in case it was hard to see in the catalog. There's the set. Lots of stamps in this one. Of course, the bundle price is $50.25, and that will be in effect either while supplies last or until May 2nd or through May 2nd. And then the dies are pretty awesome too. I know, me too, Valerie. Me too. I love that brick paper. All right, so there's the dies. So you have a little bit of everything in here, right? You have dies that cut out your shutter, your ledge, your window. Then you have shutters that are wood grain and a window frame that stand alone, that do not have coordinating stamps. You also have little hinges. You have another ledge that's a standalone. You have the flower or the greenery images, and then you have all of your pots. So it is a really nice bundle. It has flowers, but it's not a flower set, right? So I saw someone commented about how many flowers we offer. And believe it or not, they sell. That's why Stampin' Up! Offers them. Every time they try something new, it doesn't really sell as well as the floral images do. And I noticed that when we were doing the retired list last night, a lot of what retired was not flowers, right? It was a lot of new sets, but they were not floral sets. So I guess, in fact, that proves the point that flowers is what sells. So this has a little bit of flowers in it, but it's not a floral set, I wouldn't say, with the window and all the coordinating images in there. So that little stamp says "My sweet friend," and I just figured I would get that one attached before I lose one or both of those pieces. What do you think? Does anybody have welcoming window? And then, as you can see, I did go ahead and stamp the greenery and die cut that. I didn't die. Well, I did die cut it. I'm looking for the other image that I need. All right, and that's stamped in Just Jade. We're going to go ahead and stamp the window on here. Actually, I just inked that up in the wrong color. Let me grab. I did up in gray granite, which is what I used for the ledge, and I need smoky slate. You do? Okay, good. I know, Connie, I do too. I'll tell you, it's going to be hard. I usually let go of a good bit of my retiring, and there will be a BOGO sale, another online BOGO sale coming up. Hopefully in May or at least June. I have a lot of work to do to get ready for that, and I have a lot of work right now with my mom's estate. So we'll see how quickly I can put that together. Okay, so there is our window. I'm going to shut these ink pads up before I lay my hand down in them. And then I have our ledge that I pre-cut as well. And that I did stamp in the gray granite. We're going to put that on with some dimensionals. All right. Did you ever notice that when you want your large dimensionals, all you can find is your minis? And when you want your minis, all you can find is your large. It's ridiculous. All right, so we're going to go ahead and take one of these strips on the edge here and use that on the back of our ledge. And you can see I use scrap. So truth be told, I designed this, as I said, back at retreat. And apparently I did not write down the colors that I used. So this morning I spent a good bit of time trying to remember what I stamped that window in. And I'm still not sure I have it right, because this has a little more brown in, but it wasn't the gray granite. It was much darker. So I stamped it in smoky slate today. All right, so we have our little pot here. I'm going to go ahead, run some seal right across the top lip of that. There's a lot of use of dyes in this, so I did go ahead and do some of this in advance. And I'm going to, actually, let's mount it to this first before it gets all lumpy and bumpy. A little bit off camera on the bottom. All right, let me bring it up. Thank you, Carol. There we go. I tried to zoom in this morning, so that might be why. And then we're going to go ahead and mount this as well onto, whoops, onto our card front. Let's see if I can tilt that at all and make that a little bit better for you and for me. Okay. We are going to mount the greeting flat under the window. Okay. And then this is going to get mounted with some dimensionals. I'm going to put that right there on the window ledge. Okay. Then we're going to come in and we're going to mount our flowers. And the easiest way to do that, you can absolutely use glue dots, right? But those tiny little guys, ooh, I don't know. I don't know if a glue dot will even fit in there, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Tombow and I'm just going to put tiny little dots in the center of each of the spaces for the flower. Okay. I'm going to put one up there too. So now I have some adhesive there, just a little bit, and you don't need a lot. These are not heavy. They're actually fairly light. So the biggest trick is going to be getting them positioned in the correct position to come in here. And then I'm just going to hold for a beat and move on to the next one. And then I need a tiny one for right here. That's the hardest one to get the, Oh, I just knocked something on the floor. All right, I'm going to try to do this. Use both pieces of the take your pick. The pointy end, I think I have to come back and do a little bit bigger dots. So anybody have big plans for the weekend? You keep losing me. I hope that's your connection and not mine. Alexa kept stopping this morning. I was a little worried. She stopped like right at 5 of, and I thought, oh man, am I going to have internet? Get myself a little bit newer putty here. Well, honestly, this is how I did this. But I might have to resort to glue dots. I'm gonna, because this is probably fairly dry now, fighting with those two. Let's try this. And we need another pink one. I'm making it harder than it is, guys, trust me. Or I wouldn't have done it for today. Oh my goodness. There we go. And then I need a little, I'm not sure I put glue up there. Doesn't look like I did. A little pale papaya. So much fun with these little flowers. And they even have a divot in the center of them that if you wanted to go in and put in like a little rhinestone to sparkle it up more, you could absolutely do that. But I wanted to keep it fairly simple. And then grab my Cajun craze again. So this says my sweet friend, and then on the inside, I'm going to put the greeting that says from that same stamp set, wishing our paths crossed a little more often. Because I have friends that I don't see, but maybe a couple times a year, if that. And that's sad. life, right? Life takes over. There we go. What do you think of that one? I'm gonna clean up my stamps. Nice, Shirley. Yeah, I have countertops. When I built my studio, I thought I would be working over against the wall. So I put Corian countertops in, right? Because I could heat on it and all that stuff. So yeah, now I work at a table in the center of the room. I don't understand why I chose to do that, but that's what I do. Hey, Karen. Yeah, I like that. And I like those little flowers. I just made it look harder to use them than it really was. All right, we're going to move on to project number 2. I already know that I need Cajun trays for that one as well. Let me put these away too, because my luck, I will knock it on the floor and it will bust open. Okay, so we'll move that one aside and we'll bring in this next one, which looks like this. So this one, I don't use Sahara sand very often. Do you guys use Sahara sand a lot? I don't. But it worked with this card, and because I was going for that, and I can never remember this word, and my mom and dad have it in their ceiling. Anyways, it's not spackle, but textured look. And I wanted that for the outside of the building because I see a lot of that when I'm in Europe. So it's pretty cool. And we're going to slide this project in so we can work on this one. So painted texture is what the embossing folder is called. And that works to give me that stucco. It's not stucco, that's not the right word either, but that look that I'm going for. Oh my goodness. And then again, because there's a lot of pieces on here, I did go ahead and do the die cutting, but it went really quick. These are dies that fit really nicely to the stamped images. And I think I've said this to you before. So of course, welcoming window, all of the stamps are the photopolymer, right? Oh yeah, Sahara sand, yeah, absolutely, that would work for that. I don't seem to, but anyway, when you're using photopolymer stamps, you want to be careful putting them on and off your blocks, right? So walk it off with your fingers rather than grabbing a corner and pulling off. The reason for that is if you do that, even maybe just once, but certainly if you do it over and over, you will stretch the photopolymer, okay? And then it will not fit into your dies. How do I know this, you ask? Oh, a while back, before pandemic even, I did a card in a club and it was using a photopolymer stamp. It lined up beautifully. I had somebody come over. I used to do open studio time. I had somebody come over and she was making it and we could not get that stamp to line up to save our lives. So not only can you do it, can you pull that stamp out of position or out of shape, it will then not line up in your dies. So if you ever have that problem, try to pick it off the block carefully. Again, walk it with your fingers, right? And just try setting it back down. When she put it down, she did one of these and stretched it. And of course, it did not fit into the die then. So be careful with your photopolymer because they can be pulled out of shape. All right. So I did pre-cut the shutters, the ledge, the picture, and the floral pieces, right? But I'm going to cut the window. And let's grab the dies again. This is the big open one, right? So out of the die pack, you want the one that's completely open. Hey, Carol. You lost me. Is that it? I see consistent. So if you're losing me, I'm afraid it might be your connection instead of mine for a change. All right, so we're gonna put this on here. And I'm gonna grab some tape, Post-it note tape. These pieces that I've been using are pretty used, so I'm gonna get a new piece. Hey, Carol, you weren't on earlier, but you won the cards from Sunday night. So I will put them with the card kit that I have upstairs for you. And of course, this set again is one of them in the Savings in Blue promotion. So we're going to bring in the little guy. And remember, if you are just getting this little machine, it does come with all the plates that you need, right? And let me pull the other two in because they're sitting right here. So there's a white plate, there's a light gray, and a dark gray plate. And the dark gray plate is for your 3D folders. The light gray plate is for your regular embossing folders. Ooh, that's really close to the camera. Let me move it down so I can bring my hands down. So heavy, light embossing folders are 3D and regular. And then this is the plate that they tell you to use with the dies. Well, when I first got my machine, I tried and I tried and I tried, and I was almost ready to give up. And then I thought, I'm just going to switch the plate out. So I do not use plate 1 to cut with. I use plate 3, and it works like a dream. So if you're struggling with a new mini, that might be a good tip for you. But yes, it does come with all of the plates. Plate goes down first. Then we put our cutting pad down. Again, I'm putting my die through at an angle, so I'm not hitting it straight on with the rollers, which will tend to warp your dies. And we're going to run that through. Just like that. Ah, gotcha. You were welding? That's pretty cool, Carol. Hey, Deborah, how are you? So yes, remember to like, love, and share the video, and you will get entered into the drawing for the projects, just like Carol did. Uh-oh, hold on, please. There we go. I heard. Well, now that should go away. Oh no. Where's our screen? Are you seeing me, guys? Because I'm not seeing me. Oh, there I am. Okay, we're back. All right. So I love that little mini machine, and I love that it can sit right on my desk beside me. Let's build our window, shall we? All of this, the window itself, the shutters, and the ledge are all going to go on with dimensionals. So we're going to get that part done first. And we'll bring in our shutters. You can see where I was practicing my color to try to figure out what the heck I used. And it may just be that I had re-inked my gray granite after I stamped this card, and therefore it was much darker. But, and I'm going to pull another piece of that border off to do our ledge. Don't you love that border? It's great. The other thing that would be good is the adhesive strips, which I don't have those in my drawer, and I need to put them in my drawer. I'm going to cut a dimensional in half since I can't find my minis and put that right there. Okay, so let's go ahead and build our window. I'm going to start with the actual window die cut. Put that down. Did you see that thing go crooked just as I released it? That's my day. I just realized I am not in Facebook. I am back over on Zoom. There I am. Okay, so we're going to put the shutters down beside it. Okay, good. Yes, Dawn, my mother-in-law was joining my Zoom and I heard her, so I went to mute her and then it didn't want to let me back over. So we're good now. All right. There we go. This is our ledge, so this is going to come down right here beneath. This time I'm going to put it right beneath the window. Okay. Then we're going to use the pretty picture. I stamped that in Misty Moonlight. These are distinctive stamps, so you can see the shading in there. It lightens the color. I really like that. And then I did, of course, the pot in the Cajun Craze again. We've got two different greens here that we're going to use, right? Love, love, love. Let me grab the floral images for that. And the color. So for the flowers, I used Highland Heather and Mango Melody. And we just have to figure out, this is the one that goes in this pot, and this is the one that goes in the other one. All right, so we're going to ink that up with Mango Melody. And then it's fairly easy, again, because these are photopolymer, to line this up. Now I'm stamping away from myself, so this may not be as good as it would be. That's interesting. Oh, my Mango Melody needs inked. Okay, let's do the Highland Heather. And then I'll grab my Mango Melody ink pad. I love this set too. I'm so sorry to see it go. I really am. All right, so this one's going in here. That's what I expected with the Mango Melody. Let me grab my other ink pad, actually. I have two of those. Hopefully this is going to be in better shape. All right, let's try that one again, shall we? No, not that one, this one. And this one looks like it's got cuts all through. What the heck is going on in my world? All right, so we're going to try this again. Actually, let's do it over here. Okay, well, that's not coming out either. We'll try one more time. Which again, I don't know. Oh, there we go. That's so pretty. So pretty. And actually, that might have been pumpkin pie that I used, but we're going with mango today. So we're going to go ahead and attach the flowers. So if you were watching me last night, I mentioned that I had an issue with my eye while we were online together. And that's probably why I'm struggling with colors today, because I did have some bleeding in my eye last night. So I apologize, but we will keep going. All right, actually, I don't want one on the base. I just want it behind the flowers to make the flowers stand out a little bit more. So we'll take that guy off, peel off our backing, and pop him on our window ledge. So pretty. So, so pretty. Okay, and then our pot gets our Highland Heather flowers. That's going to go on with dimensionals as well. I don't even know it's there, Ashley. I don't even know it's on my hand. Okay, so, and then I used Best Year for the inside greeting and for the outside greeting. I'm going to stamp the outside greeting in the Cajun Craze, and we're going to trim that out. There's no end to the scenes that you can create with this window, I don't think. I just love it. Okay, I'll take that off. Now the cats will come running for it. Actually, the cats are in hiding because they're going to the vet tonight for the first time since pandemic. And I don't know why my husband would do such a thing, but he set the pet carriers, and there are 3 of them, in the family room upstairs. So the cats are looking at them going, what the heck are they doing out? Because they know what that means. So they're not very happy right now. So I'm just trimming this out. You can do rounded, you can do straight, however you like your greetings to look. I'm going to trim that off so I have, make it a little bit easier to navigate around. And mostly I'm turning the paper rather than the scissors, right? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and just mount that flat on our card front. Right down here. And then for our inside piece, I'm going to use the coordinating greeting from Best Year, which, by the way, Best Year is also on the retired list. It is one of my go-to greeting sets. Thank you, Marlene. Hi, Donna. Donna, if you just go to my page, Lori Staley, Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, right? If you come on after 10 o'clock and you go to my page, unless for some reason I'm running late, I should just be right there in the feed on that page. So just scroll. I should be at the top actually, but that's how you can find me easily, right? If you're on Facebook before I go live and you go to my page, just hit the refresh button and it should bring me up. Okay. There you go, guys. What do you think of that one? Thank you, Deborah. And you could actually put a flower pot on the inside as well if you'd like to do that. That would tie it together, and stamp some flowers on your envelope. That would be cute. All right, I got one more for you. Clean this one up just a little bit because now I'm surrounded by stamps and ink pads. There it is. I'm like, I know I had Stampin' Mist here, right? All right, so I always joke at my in-person events that this is the cheapest washer and dryer you will ever buy because we wash on one side and we dry on the other. Thank you, guys. I do love this set. This one may not be seen in the BOGO sale. This one may stay with me. All right. Let's push those over to the side because I may need some of them on the next project. I'm not sure. We'll bring these over. And all right. So one more for you with the welcoming window. Hopefully this has given you some ideas for the ones that own it and maybe making you think about that set that's retiring. How about this one? So this one, we've got DSP, well, not the On Horizon, that'll be around till at least June. But the in color DSP and the Misty Moonlight, the 6x6 pack is retiring. Of course, both are from In Good Taste, which I love and is on sale. It's an even better deal now. I used the basic borders die at the top, and then I used another bundle. This one is the Plentiful Plants. This one is not retiring, but the bundle price is going away. Your iPad and you are not friends. Yeah, every time I think about getting an iPad, I go, maybe not. Maybe not. I have an iPhone, but everything else is laptop. I have a Surface, Microsoft Surface. That's the equivalent of my tablet. And I want this die. Okay, so there's the dies, the hanging basket. I love that little hanging basket. Even a bigger flower pot that you could incorporate with the window, welcoming window set, and then all kinds of plants as well. So lots of fun with this one. I'm glad this one isn't leaving. Hi, Sharon. Okay, so let's work on this guy. As I said, Misty Moonlight is our card base. And I have a piece of basic white that we're going to build our scene on. So this is my wallpaper, if you will. Do you like your iPad? I probably would, but right now I need one more piece of technology. Like I don't know, something else to do. Okay, so there's our papers. I love both of those. Of course, I'm going to terribly miss Misty Moonlight, but we do have some blues coming in the new in colors, and I still have to work on that meme. It's just with my eye, it's going to slow me down a little bit in getting that done. Okay, then I use the die cut windows, right, from Welcoming Window, and I have a piece of the On the Horizon. So this is just a little thin piece, skinny piece of the On the Horizon paper that I cut out, and we're going to mount that to the back of the windows. Isn't that cool? Look at that scene. Ooh, wait. Probably Tombow would be your friend here as well, because I've got adhesive showing through. And I'm going to do it again. Just for sake of ease, right? Any of the patterns in the On the Horizon paper would work beautifully for this. There's nothing that I don't like in that pack. But I thought these colors went the best with my pattern. going to pull this off if I can and drop it just a little bit to give us a little bit more room for our window. There we go. There we go. Okay. So this is going to go on flat. I'm going to keep it right about there so that I have the space for the valance at the top. This, as I said earlier, I made with the basic border dies. And then I just cut a very thin strip that I'm going to mount at the top of that. And I don't know the names of the curtain parts, but you know, you always see that strip at the top. Now that I am going to go with some Tombow because that is a very thin strip and I want to make sure it stays on there. Okay, just layer that right even with your top edge. And then I'm going to trim that off. My scissors keep moving around. Valance, yep, there you go. That's it. This we're going to put on with some dimensionals as well. But those basic border dies, and thank goodness they didn't retire them, right? You can do some really cool things. There's what is there, 5 or 6 different borders in there. So that's pretty cool. And then we're going to put this kind of centered, just like that. Well, let's see if I can pull that up so we can see more of that pale papaya. There we go. Okay, so now we just have the bottom to work on. And using the stamps from Celebrating You for the greetings. Right now I'm looking for the Just For You, which I know I took out of here. So we'll do the inside until I find that. We want the Misty Moonlight ink pad for our inside greeting. Yeah, that's crooked. That was all me. That stamp is straight. Thank you, Donna. That's better. Yeah. And again, you could put the potted plant on the inside as well. Okay. Now where is, oh, there it is. Just For You. We're going to do that in the Misty Moonlight as well. Make sure that stamp is straight. And it's not. So it's good I did that. Go like that. Yep. There we go. And then we're going to bring back in our mini. Now I did go ahead and stamp the plant in Garden Green. Again, I use that gray plate for die cutting, even though it says you're supposed to use that for embossing. that little die, line that up. Use my Post-it note tape to hold it in place. Don't have that quite right. There we go. That's a little better. Plate on top. All right, and then, oh, why did I put that away? I need the little pot that it's going to sit in. I just did that out of crumb cake. I'm way crooked on there, aren't I? Okay. Let me put that where I don't lose it. Pop out those little dots at the top. I'm going to bring this back in. And guess what? This is going to go on with dimensionals. I bet you guessed that, didn't you? I need another half because that last leaf is a little skinny. I have to restock my minis in my drawer by my filming station. This is going to go down here in the corner. And then we're just going to mount that to our card front. Oh, thank you, Shirley. I'm so glad. I love sharing it with all of you. So it makes me so happy that you come and hang out with me and we get to make some really fun things together. I never in a million years thought over 18 and a half years ago when my mother introduced me to stamping that this would be what I would be doing 18 years later. I literally wanted in for the discount. I was going to be in for 3 months, get some toys at a discount and hop out. And 18 years later, not only didn't I hop out, but it's now my job, which is pretty cool that I get to craft and create for a living. So there you go, guys. Those are our projects from today. I hope you like them. I think they are awesome. And if you notice, by just using all the dies and everything and the flowers in there, the only bling I used was those really pretty flowers on that pot. Everything else is done with the dies and the papers. So there you have it. I love the On Horizon paper. Yes, absolutely. And earlier this week, the On Horizon bundle, if any of you have been waiting for it, was back in stock. I was able to get it for Donna. I don't know if it's still in stock. Truthfully, I haven't been on to look at the inventory report this morning. But if that's something that you're interested in, make sure you grab that. All right, guys, thank you again. My plan is to be on Sunday night at 8 for Come Stamp Along with me. I have a special short time class offering that I'm finishing up this morning. It's for Easter. So I will probably be sending you an email out. I only have 6 kits available. So if you fall in love with it and want it, let me know right away. And I may even hop on after lunch and just show it to you live. So if you happen to be on Facebook and you're looking around, you might see me again somewhere between probably around 1 o'clock. All right, guys. Hey, take care. Have a good rest of your week and a great weekend. And I will see you soon. Bye, guys.